Please, have a seat. Now, Mr. Jenkins, my name is Mr. Alvarez. I'm your claims adjuster. I was going through the paperwork that you filed, and I just have a few questions about your claim. Just a few things that I need clarification on. Now, I'm a little surprised, Mr. Jenkins. We could have taken care of this with a phone call, but you insisted on coming in. Well, yes, here at B&B Insurance Company, the customer is very important to us. You wanted a face-to-face meeting. Here we are. Now, there are some things that I just don't understand. I'm sorry, I'll be honest with you. Now, according to your claim, a very expensive statue was broken in your home during a house party. Now, is that correct? Oh, it is. Okay. Oh, why are we whispering? Well, this is a little embarrassing, but my secretary, who is normally a very professional individual, she confessed to me that she had been drinking the night before, and she's horribly hungover. She's actually the best secretary I've had in the 6 years I've worked here. And I really don't want to fire her, Mr. Jenkins. So we're whispering because she has a migraine headache, and she's badly hungover. Yes, she's been having some personal problems. Apparently her husband was cheating on her, apparently with another man. And actually, Mr. Jenkins, could we please get back to your claim? Yes, your claim. So how exactly did the statue get damaged? Now, that's what I'm talking about, Mr. Jenkins. I'm going to need a bit more clarification. So, you were on vacation, and your no-account son, according to you, decided to throw a house party. And during the course of the house party, something a bit bizarre happened, causing the statue to be accidentally damaged. Okay. I kinda hate to ask, but could you please go into detail about what exactly occurred? Okay. 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 No, please continue. I'm listening. Okay. 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 Oh, I see what the problem is, Mr. Jenkins. Yes, I was young once myself. So, apparently, there was a young woman who had a little too much to drink. Okay, she had way too much to drink. Okay, okay, okay. And she apparently passed out because none of her girlfriends wanted to keep an eye on her. They were all sick and tired of her nonsense. Okay, so she passed out on top of your coffee table. All right. I see. Okay, okay. Oh, and there was a Russian exchange student at the party. Apparently a very wealthy Russian exchange student. I see. Your son wanted to make friends with him. So your son walked up to him and offered him a beer. In which case, the individual punched him in the face, causing your son to fall backwards onto the coffee table, startling the passed-out drunken girl who woke up just long enough to grab your son and fling him onto your statue because she thought he was trying to take advantage of her due to the fact that she was drunk and passed out. Well, that's a rather understandable reaction on the part of the girl. What I don't understand is why did this young man, after coming to the party and being handed a beer, why did this rich young exchange student proceed to punch your son in the face? I mean, your son gave him a beer. Oh, I see. So your son tried to make friends with him, and he figured a good way of doing that would be to offer him the beer and then try to speak to him in Russian. Does your son speak Russian, Mr. Jenkins? No. No, he does not. That's what I thought. Yes. So your son, who doesn't speak Russian, apparently attempted to speak Russian by asking a young native Russian speaker for a few words that he could toss out. I see. Now, who exactly did your son ask to help him with this little deception? Mr. Jenkins, are you joking? Your son decided to ask the sister of his ex-girlfriend, whom he cheated on, for a few words in Russian. Okay. Now, once again, this is the sister of his ex-girlfriend, the girlfriend that he cheated on, and he went to her sister to ask her for help because she happens to speak Russian fluently. Okay. Okay, I'm starting to see the problem. Yes, now, fortunately for you, Mr. Jenkins, I speak Russian fluently, would you happen to know the word that your son said to this wealthy, young, foreign exchange student? What did your son say to this young man? Oh, you have it saved on your phone in a text message. Yes, please show me. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at the text message. Oh, yes, I see the problem. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Jenkins, I'm very sorry to tell you this, but when your son walked up to that young foreign exchange student and offered him a beer, instead of saying beer, your son ended up saying something else. I guess those two words are rather similar. Yes, yes. Well, the Russian word for beer is piva. Yes. Phonetically speaking, it's going to be the word P, which obviously in English means to urinate. No, Mr. Jenkins, I am not having a laugh at your expense. I'm just giving you the phonetic spelling. It's going to be the word P, immediately followed by the letters VA. That's right. The word P, and then V as in victory, and the letter A. Piva. That is the Russian word for beer. The word your son said, padlu. Well, I'm not going to finish saying it. Mr. Jenkins, yeah. I know that phonetically speaking, the word in Russian that your son said to the foreign exchange student, yeah, I know they sound somewhat similar, but instead of saying beer, your son basically handed him a beer and horribly insulted him to his face while doing so. The young man clearly thought your son was making fun of him, insulting him, and so he reacted by punching your son. So now the foreign exchange student's actions also make sense. That's right, Mr. Jenkins. Rather than saying the Russian word for beer, which is piva, your son said something else. A rather bad insult in Russian, and he got punched for it. So yes, apparently his ex-girlfriend's sister was still angry at your son for what he did. So, okay. Your son got punched in the face, and then everything came around to the statue being broken. Well, Mr. Jenkins, I'm very sorry, but you don't have a claim. Hold on, please calm down, Mr. Jenkins. You don't have a claim. I mean, your son broke the statue. He was the one who ended up breaking it. I understand you didn't give him permission to have a party, but he's your son. Now, unless you're willing to file charges against him, unless you're willing to call the police, we can't help you. Well, I mean, that's not going to help because your son lives with you. So I'm sorry, Mr. Jenkins, but going after the student or the passed out drunk girl isn't going to help. Your son was the one who broke the statue, and since he's your son, we can't cover the damages unless you're willing to call the police and press charges against your son. Oh, you are? Well, okay, Mr. Jenkins, if you're willing to do that, we can absolutely cut you a check. Yes, Mr. Jenkins. Yes, your son will more than likely end up in jail. Yes. And you're okay with that? Well, all right, Mr. Jenkins, it's your decision. I'll start processing your check. Yes, thank you for clarifying. Yes. Yes. All right, Mr. Jenkins. Yes. The nearest precinct is the 109 precinct. Oh, you want to go there in person instead of calling them? Well, that's up to you, Mr. Jenkins. All right. Have a good day, sir.